let's focus on the other side of the bracket because I have something to say about this Miami Heat team, this 2020 Miami Heat team, and their similarity to the 2004 Detroit Pistons. Now, I believe there's a lot of parallels between these two teams, but I want to get to this point right off the bat because I know that people are going to contest this for this reason, right? So I want to get this argument right out of the way so that we can move on to the rest of the stuff that I see. And that is that there's no definitive superstar on this team. A lot of people are going to look at this and be like, but Jimmy buckets, right? Jimmy Butler, he's a shooting guard slash small forward out of Marquette who plays for this Miami Heat team. He's a lockdown defender. He had all right seasons, or all right stats in the regular season, but he's really stepped it up this postseason. He's an amazing leader, but you can't call him a superstar in my eyes, right? I don't think he's a superstar. Superstar is a term that I reserve for guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, right? James Harden. And to me, Jimmy Butler isn't on that same tier, right? I think he's a star. And, I think he's better than any of the players on that 2004 Detroit Pistons team were. But at the same time, I wouldn't define him as a superstar, right? So maybe some people say, oh, well, that should disqualify this comparison. But I think it's just close enough to where I think this comparison is going to work. Now, the reason I even came up with this comparison in the first place is because before one of these Heat-Celtics games, I want to say it was Chauncey Billups was interviewing Bam Adebayo. And that kind of that kind of went in my head, right? Maybe there are similarities between these two teams. So we think of this Detroit Pistons team as one without a superstar. And I believe the Heat also don't have a superstar, right? So that's right off the bat. The Pistons team was known for their ferocious defense. You think of Ben Wallace. You think of Rasheed. You think of Chauncey. You think of Rip Hamilton, right? You think of all these guys, and they're known as a great defensive team. Guys with lockdown, right? And defense isn't exactly the same as it used to be. So comparing the defenses is a little bit different because they're playing two different styles of defense. But I think it's fair to call them both great defenses and great team defenses, right? There are a few good individual defenders on both teams, but they play great team defense. When you think of the Heat, my primary thing that I always go to is their defense, right? Number two would probably be their shooting. They got shooters, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. But the first thing I think of is their defense. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, guys like that. And so I think that they both have a defensive identity. I think that's fair to say. And I think they both had great veterans and young players coming together to gel into a perfect team. And when I say team, I mean not just a noun team, oh, well, they're a team. Any NBA franchise has a team, right? The Charlotte Hornets have a team. But I mean a team, like a group of guys who are focused on the same goal and are willing to put their bodies on the line. They're willing to come out and give their best performances to win NBA games in the postseason. I think they have amazing chemistry, right? I think they work perfectly together. And when people think of that 2004 Pistons team, I think they really don't think of any individual guys, right? I mean, yeah, you can name guys, but it's the same way with the Heat team, right? I mean, when you think about them, you don't think about, oh, well, that's Jimmy Butler's team, right? I mean, yeah, Jimmy Butler's on the team, and he's a great piece on the team, but it's not like a carry job, right? I mean, you think of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, even their role players, come into play. You kind of think about it. Goran Dragic, the Dragon, he's had a pivotal role in this postseason, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team who have made a huge impact. So I think they're more of a team than a lot of other guys. Like the Lakers, you look at them and you say that's LeBron and Anthony Davis's team, right? When you look at the Heat, you just think of a lot of guys. You don't think of a single guy. At least that's how I look at it, right? And they're making a great run in the playoffs. And speaking of, right, let's look at who they're probably going to face. The Los Angeles Lakers. Does this seem familiar? Because I do think it seems familiar, right? The 2004 Detroit Pistons actually beat a stacked LA team, a Big Two, in the 2004 finals. They faced off against Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, and that was their last year together for the Lakers. And they lost to that Detroit Pistons team, and this year, most likely, it is going to be the 2020 Miami Heat facing off against a stacked LA Lakers team, this time with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, if things go like they are supposed to go. So the real question for them is, can they go all the way, right? I mean, they're a great team, but are they on the same level where they can upset a team that is looked at as a heavy favorite, a team that people say the Lakers are probably going to beat the Miami Heat in 5, right? And I don't think so, man. In my eyes, I think the Heat are going to take this 6 or 7. Now, do I believe the Heat are going to win against the Los Angeles Lakers? Probably not, right? And we'll get more into those predictions when the NBA Finals actually roll around, right? I don't want to give too much away on what I think. Gotta save some content for some future episodes. But I thought it was interesting to kind of look at, the Miami Heat and their comparisons to the 2004 Detroit Pistons, how they're similar, how they're different. I think it was just a fun kind of thing to roll around in my head, and